Hi, welcome to Pico Playtime, the video series where I play through some cool Pico 8 games to show to you lovely people. Today's game is called Vix Tower. I remember the name of the game. Today's game is called Vix Tower and it's by the developer called Clippy. Let's get it loaded up so we can start talking about it. So, I found this game by using one of Pico 8's new features, which is the Lucky Draw feature. What Lucky Draw does, it pulls, well, unsurprisingly, it finds a bunch of random carts and gives them to you in a list. The carts seem to be a mixture of different categories. So Pico 8's Explore feature has got a few different categories. You've got new carts, which are just obviously ones that have been uploaded recently. Featured, those are the ones kind of, well, featured on the Pico 8 website. Works in progress, jam. No one really knows what some of these categories are for. Anyway, Lucky Draw seems to pick from a few different ones. So, I've been using Lucky Draw to discover some new cartridges. And the one we're going to look at today is called Vix Tower. So, let's load it up whilst we introduce it. Lovely title screen, by the way. Nice little bit of music there. So, Vix Tower is a endless platforming kind of game. Sort of like Doodle Jump, if you're familiar with that. It was made initially, or an early version of the game was called Rogue Tower, and then it was finalised into Vix Tower. I haven't played Rogue Tower. It looks very similar, but I don't know, maybe there's some optimizations. Anyway, the game was released in 2017, so it's quite an old game, but it's something I did want to highlight. One thing I want to say right away is the look of the game. It's got a really cool use of the Pico 8 palette. It's kind of got the Game Boy palette going on, hasn't it? The kind of, what do you call it? Grayscale palette, I think. Does Game Boy use 4 colours? I'm really not an expert. Anyway, it looks like a Game Boy, which I think looks pretty cool. So, as you can see, very simple controls. It's Pico 8 after all. Z for jump and X for using the item. So, if we make a start on the game, if I get focus, I might even be better. There we go. So, nice music. Oh, we're scrolling. Oh, I thought I'd have a bit of time to talk. So, one of the cool features of the game, which makes it a little bit more unusual compared to other similar games like this, is you've got a kind of level wrap going on. So as you can see, you can jump from either side of the screen, which takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it's fine, it's cool. Now, you may have noticed that I'm very near the top of the screen. That's a defensive measure. As we get further in, it gets quite tricky, and we want to be as near to the top of the screen as possible, because if we touch the bottom of the screen, the encroaching layer of clouds, it's game over. So I want to show as much of this game as I can. Now, you may have noticed that I picked up a power-up. You can only hold one power-up at a time, and each one of them gives you a different ability. I think the one I've got now is it was an extra life. So if I did hit the clouds, it would respawn me. This one, the clock, this is quite handy. This lets us stop time, Bernard's watch style. And after a while, you can see, time continues. That helps us recover. Now, the really fun one, which I haven't had yet, is the, what's it called on the, let's just pause it a minute. Does it have a name? Rocket shoes. Yeah, the rocket shoes lets you jump really high. Great fun. Anyway, it's a pretty simple game, this, isn't it? It's one of those endless, here we go, rocket jump, boom. It's one of those endless platformers. So, it's just a case of seeing how high you can go. The reason that I wanted to highlight it then in a video, well, for a start, it's the fact that it's the fact that I've not seen this game before. It's not something I've seen pop up in a featured list or anything, so it was a nice find. But what I wanted to point out was the fact that it's a very simple game, very simple mechanics, easy to get to grips with. All the presentation around it, though, is what makes it special. Lovely animation. I love the big sprites. Many Pico 8 games, you don't see, or you tend not to see very many big sprites. The default size of a sprite in Pico 8 is 8 pixels by 8 pixels. which are also very small sprites, and that gives Pico 8 games a very certain look. Now, obviously you can have bigger sprites. And for a simple game like this, where there doesn't have to be too much going on the screen, the bigger, simpler sprites work really well. And I think the kind of cartoon style of this, it makes it look like an old Game Boy game. I think if you had this on the Game Boy, you would be a pretty happy chappy in 1992 or whenever. Anyway, let's see if I can beat my score, shall we? Other little things that I like the forgiving platforming. You probably might have noticed, but sometimes you can kind of get... Oh, no. You can kind of land halfway on a platform and it will just let you land there. It's not too unforgiving, the platforming. The movement of the character's nice. There's a nice kind of weight to it. A nice amount of momentum, which makes the platforming really smooth and just really nice and polished, which is what I like in my games. I like the music. Nice sound to it. Sounds a little bit different to what you normally hear on Pico 8. I didn't look actually, I probably should have checked this out. I'm not sure what other games Clippy has made. Like I say, this one's from 2017, so hopefully there'll be some more recent ones that have been made. It isn't on itch, unfortunately, and I also couldn't find Clippy on Twitter, so I haven't really got many links to kind of post. Normally, I'll be saying, oh, make sure you follow the developer, make sure you check it out on itch. Well, you can't really do that today. If you want to play the game, you can play it in Splore, like I'm doing, or play it on the Pico 8 BBS, the forums for Pico 8, the official forums, or BBS. You can play it in the browser on the forums, so that's nice. But it is good when the game is on itch, so you can actually download it. Anyway, yes, let's use some of these power-ups. So, one of the interesting quirks of this game is then you can jump and land on platforms above the top level of the screen. Particularly if you get the rocket boots, the rocket shoes, and if you just set those off near the top of the screen, you can land really high above the screen. Doesn't seem to cause any problems, but I think that's quite a funny little touch. Oh no! There's not a massive margin for error, as you can see. If you miss one jump, it's very hard to recover. That's why you need to stay near the top of the screen. I love this game over screen as well. Look at poor little Vic. Little ghost-looking character. Like I say, the presentation of this game is really nice. Let's have one more game, I think. See if I can do better than 15. I always manage to do really well off camera. Then as soon as I press the record button, my ability to play games melts away. So hopefully I'll do a little bit better this time. I got to level 22. See if I can get to that again. Maybe stay near the top of the screen a little bit more. You may have noticed a Flappy Bird flying across the screen. The Flappy Bird was supposed to be an enemy, but looks like Clippy decided not to put that into the game for whatever reason. To be honest, I don't think it really harms it that much. I think the fact that the bird moves so quickly, I think it'd be really hard to dodge. It could maybe feel a little bit unfair. But it's nice having the extra little bit of animation, the other character going across the screen. So yeah, that's a nice touch. As you can see there, my power-up saved my life very helpfully. The fact you can only hold one power-up at a time is quite cool, I think. It encourages you to use power-ups. I think there's a tendency in games to... I think there's a tendency sometimes to hold on to items and not to use them, so that's good. That was... The game is good. My playing was bad. 11? Oh. Anyway, it's only a short video today because it's only a fairly short and simple game, but one that I think is definitely worth checking out. Quick little games like this on Pico 8 work really well, and when the presentation is so nice, I mean the art style in this game is just lovely. I love the colour palette that's used. Very simple kind of 4-colour palette. Gives it a real classic retro Game Boy kind of look, which you don't always see on Pico 8, so it's nice to see some different looks. Anyway, I think that's all I need to say about this game. Check it out. It's on. You can play the link. Well, the link's down below. I'll put a link in the description as well. You can play it on the Pico 8 forums, the BBS, or you can play it on Splore. And yes, if you have got Pico 8 and you have got Splore, I urge you to try the Lucky Draw feature. You can find some real gems on there. I'm hopefully going to be doing a few more games from my little discovery session in the coming video. So yeah, check back soon. Anyway, thank you for watching. Check out the game. If you can find Clippy on social media, then give them a follow, because this is a cool game. I like it a lot. Let's just see if he posted. I say he. I don't know if it's a he or a she. Let's see if they've posted any more cartridges before we finish off. Oops, wrong thing there. Ah, sad. It's the only thing that's been posted on Pico 8, so I don't know. We need to find out, though, who this person is. So, if you are Clippy, or if you have seen Clippy, please call your local Lost Programmer Foundation charity, and they will, reunite Clippy with their owners. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.